So I thought I'll do the very obvious colors first. Let me just zoom you in a touch. So the very obvious colors that kind of looked a little bit repeated throughout, and it's a color that definitely, or both colors that I definitely love using. So one is this one, and it's called different depending on the brand, as you will see. And then there is one which is called either Sanguine or Terracotta or Burnt Sienna, or there's even Mars Orange, but really they're pretty much almost the same color, with the exception of this one is leaning towards warm a little bit more. But these like 5, they're pretty much almost identical. So across this color, let's have a look. So we've got Derwent Drawing Pencil, it's called Light Sienna, Luminance Burnt Ochre 10%, Holbein Peach, this is Polychromos Light Flash, this is Derwent Lightfast Cinnamon, and Derwent Lightfast Dusky Pink. I thought just to add it, I mean obviously it's a little bit too pink here, but it kind of works still well, and it's almost like a gradual ombre kind of effect. So they're not identical, but they lay pretty close to each other. I particularly find this peach super beautiful. It's almost like a 2-color in one, so when I look at this I can pick up some peach, and I also can pick up some of these kind of more sort of creamy, warm toned beige color, probably I would describe it as. So it's a lovely, lovely color. Okay, then this color is like a probably terracotta, I would say, would be the best description for it. Again, this is Derwent Drawing Pencil, they call it Sanguine. Polychromos also call it Sanguine here, so you can see they're very, very comparable. Luminance calls this pencil Terracotta. Then we have Holbein Burnt Sienna. Derwent Lightfast also calls this pencil Burnt Sienna, and we can see it's slightly warmer than this one. And then we finally have Derwent Lightfast, which I thought is a more closer match to these pencils than that one, just by a little kind of little tiny bit. And it's called Mars Orange. Okay, next color comparison we have is this sort of like I have a bunch of colors here. You can see that at this point I'm starting to go away from kind of having them almost identical looking, but they are sitting quite close together. They're sort of like the same family colors. So what would I describe this one? Sort of like a browny kind of dark brown color, I suppose. Sepia probably would be a good description. So let's see. This is the Derwent Drawing Sepia Red. There is a Derwent Lightfast Sepia Red as well. So the same color basically in 2 different pencils, Derwent Drawing and Derwent Lightfast. We can see that the Derwent Drawing is more creamier. Then we have Luminance Burnt Sienna, and that is a little bit warmer. It's not the same color as that. Then we have Holbein Burgundy, only because I didn't have anything close. As you know, by Holbeins I generally have the Pastel set and a few open stock, which you know, this is like the closest I can find for from my open stock Holbeins. Then we have Caput Mortem by Polychromos, which is a great color. It's kind of probably more similar to the Luminance Burnt Sienna, but they're different enough. So you can see this one has a bit more red in there. Derwent Lightfast Merlot, somewhere between Burnt Sienna and Burgundy probably, like a more of a aubergine kind of a color. Then we're going into grays. Now this violet gray should not be here, I just mistakenly swatched it out. So what we do have here is a variety of grays. So here we have a Derwent Drawing Cool Grey, Then we have a Luminance Sepia 10%, which is interesting. It's kind of between the violet grey and like a cool grey. Somewhere in between it could sit quite comfortably. So it's got more of a color than just a flat grey, which is really pretty. Then we have Holbein Warm Grey number 2. We have also Warm Grey number 2 by Polychromos, and they're very, very comparable, but different enough. And then we have finally the Derwent Lightfast Warm Grey. So it is a lot warmer than these two warm greys, as you can see. Then let's look at the final colors. So I have got here 4 groups that I put together. So here is like a interesting kind of grayish blue. Derwent Drawing Solway Blue, Luminance Paints Grey 30%, and then we have Holbein Smoke Blue, which I think is a very pretty, almost lilac-y blue. And then we have the kind of interesting greens here. Derwent Drawing Crack Green, Luminance Middle Verdigris, and Holbein Willow Green. I think all of them sit quite nicely together and they are really pretty. Quite unusual colors for a green. Then we have these muted violet colors. So we have Derwent Drawing Pencil in Mars Violet, Luminance Violet Grey, Holbein Sea Fog, and Derwent Lightfast Mars Violet. So these are the same color by Derwent Drawing and Derwent Lightfast. So you can see a difference there. Now the Holbein Sea Fog is a little bit out of this sort of color group, but it's the closest. Again, I could match it from my pastel set. And then finally I thought to compare these very dark blue colors. Here is what has become my kind of favorite black. It's in fact a dark indigo by Luminance, but it is so intense that I use it in place of a black. It does have a distinct blue tint to it, which makes for me the black more interesting rather than just a flat black. It becomes kind of a more, literally when you look into it, you could, you know, it just looks like a hole. It's just so intense. And then next to it I thought I'll compare the Derwent Lightfast Midnight Black, which is probably their darkest kind of, what would you say? Well, it's supposed to be a black, but it's actually more blue than a black compared to the dark indigo. Let me just have a look at the swatches again. So this was the Lightfast. So here we go. In the blacks they have black, Mars black, and Midnight black. And if we go into the dark blues, the dark indigo is right here. So the dark indigo is still bluer than this dark indigo. As you can see, that this is more intense. Yeah. And the other blacks don't really compare. I mean, Mars black is a warm toned black, and then the black is just looks not as interesting as this one. This one is a lot more intense. So this is the dark indigo compared to a black over here. So I hope that it was useful for you to maybe drop down some of the colors that, you know, you enjoyed. And I'll give you a quick close-up so you can pause and write down the colors that you might want to add to your collection from the comparison. And then finally here, these colors. Right, so thanks for watching and see you soon.